Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So if you haven't already, make sure you do update to the newest version of update 2.13.200. This is an in-game update, so it's not in the Play or App Store. Just reload the game, reset the game, and it'll automatically update when you get it. Now in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we'll cover the various banners that feature another style Juno, which is obviously AS Yipha. Now if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So of course, all of these really depend on whether or not you want AS Yipha, but we'll cover the Fateful encounter first. As mentioned in the update notes yesterday, it is a 2x max Fateful encounter. It will last for about a month, and pretty standard stuff. Pulls 1 to 9 is 0.4 for the 4.5, 0.8 for the normal style, as well as 0.8 for the AS. And of course, on the 10th pull, you do get an uprated to 10% on the AS. And note that you still do get the uprated of 0.8% on the normal style. For those who are light spenders, reminder that, of course, if you hit normal style Yipha, that is still considered a win for the most part. You don't have the ability to use AS Yipha right away. However, you can side grade her provided you do grind your keys regularly and get those treatises. Like with most Fateful encounters, all the newest units are here. AS Radius, for example, among others. I believe Jet Tactician should be here as well, as under the altars right there, Jet Tactician Xion. And of course, bots, Rainbow Sisters, and Knights. Nothing too exciting there. And for those who are free to play, you can also do the regular banner as well. Obviously not nearly as good rate-wise, however, it's still not too bad. The downside to this one though is that Yipha is actually split with the other manifest fight for her true manifest, which is normal style clear. And as a result, normal style Yipha only has a 0.04% chance of getting the 4.5. Note that on the 10th pull it gets 0.15, and on the normal style 5-star, pretty much no rate up at all. And so for the AS version, 0.8, split with Leclerc 0.4 and 0.8 respectively. Again, being that this is a free banner, Radius AS is not here, and of course, Jet Tactician. So reminder that those are usually 2 updates behind if you are doing free banners versus paid banners. So, should you summon? Now, it all depends on how much you value AS Yipha. So as I mentioned yesterday, AS Yipha is the second dual zone setter, and it depends on the number of, the party makeup in your team. So if she VCs in, and these are all her zone abilities are applied through VC, she does not have a preemptive move, say like Jet Tactician Xion. When she VCs in, it'll deploy Wind Zone. However, if you do have 4 or more Fist or Hammer users in your party, it'll now deploy Blunt Zone. It's very similar to her normal style, except she has that extra ability of the Wind Zone, and it also has an MP consumption VC in, which is a little bit worse off than her normal style version, which increases crit damage up 50%. Now her unique ability is that she starts off the battle with 1 Faith charge, and she can just use that Faith charge instead of her normal move to target any single party member, on your front line, and give them a blessing. And a blessing essentially is increases all their stats instead of HP and MP, and it's based off Yipha's spirit divided by 2. So at the max of 600 spirit, you can give 300 stats to everything except HP and MP. So that means 300 speed, 300 power, 300 int, blah 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 blah. And so it really does enhance your main DPS. Like I mentioned earlier, most newer teams now have 1 DPS, 1 or 2 offensive or defensive supports depending on the need of the team, and 1 zone setter. And in this case, she can be your primary zone setter with obviously some support capabilities. You can run something like RCF if you're running Wind Zone, or obviously in Blunt Zone, you'll have other units such as AS Yipha or AS Subami supporting, and then you can apply it to your massive boost to your DPS of your choice. For example, in Wind Zone, AS Kikyo is a great choice. For Blunt Zone, you still have the likes of AS Ewan, AS Hardy, the list goes on and on for giving your main DPS tons and tons of extra stats to do extra damage if you're not already winning super hard already. Not only that, but because of her new update where she functioned in dual zones, her 4-star moves, which include things like a single enemy dual debuff 2020, now works in any stance. And so that really, really works well, and it is enhanced in any stats to 30/30. So one great thing about that is that obviously as the content gets harder, really a dual debuff of 25/25 isn't really enough. We're seeing things like 35/35, even things like 50/50 dual debuff on things like Orlea or Kid. And so the higher the number, the better obviously for defense. She still has things like restoring statuses, which can dual as like a healer of sorts. She can boost your speed of your team as well as her 4-star moves. Now in terms of her 5-star move, great defensive capabilities while, like I said, letting your DPS survive such that the person you blessed will have all the enhancements and help keep the party alive. So for first move is physical and type resistance 35%, status immunity to all parties main and reserve, and knockback immunity 1 time, which will help with those annoying boss mechanics. For the member who you've blessed, it doubles the effect of the buff, so physical and type resist 70% each. That essentially makes them immune to all elemental physical attacks. So for example, because it's it's usually even with with diminishing returns, and this is not because they're separate. If it's a physical, it's over 100% shielding. So unless the boss has things like boosting itself or puts type resist debuff on you, for example, or physical resist debuff, that shielding should allow you to take little to no damage on your blessed unit. Also increase type attack damage by 100% for 1 time, and a shield equal to the max HP on that blessed unit. So again, allows survivability while that person just mows down the competition. Her other move is a preemptive, and both of these are preemptive, which is even greater in that you're gonna act before the boss or the mobs, and so you're gonna just, like I said, win first, hopefully. Crit damage to your entire team, front and back, 50%, and increase weapon damage 50%, power and int 50% till the end of turn, and for the for the party member with your blessed on it, double the buff effect. So, you're going to hit the cap. Remember that all these boosts are basically power and int, for example, and speed. They have the max buff at 100%. So, even the end of turn boost from zone setters that she does not have, she's essentially giving it all to that one unit, and respectable 50-50-50 to everyone else. So as a support, she is doing things that are unparalleled. The only unit that can give knockback immunity, the only unit that can double your stats on one unit. The only thing is, do you need her? Keep in mind that there is a spoiler alert. The next update should have a new unit that is our Crystal Zone setter that Japan has already had, and now we're going to get one. And that is something that can't be duplicated as well. Alma is her name, and apparently she can do a ton of damage, set Crystal Zone, and so on and so forth. And so really the point at this point is to consider between 3 banners that are kind of close together: Jet Tactician Xion, Another Style Juno, and of course Alma. And the thing is, I would have to say if you had to choose between Alma and AS Yipha and Jet Tactician Xion, if I had to choose, I'd probably put Xion first, then Alma next, and then AS Yipha third. And I know that that can be debated. The reason for that is, obviously for Alter Xion, he can switch the weakness and resistance, and also preemptive magic zone. That just wrecks everything. I mean, you can just, if the enemy's resistant to anything, you can just change it to weakness. It can help your enemies, your team exploit the weaknesses. Yeah, he is just broken upon broken. The only downside to Alter Xion is the fact that if you already have him in normal style, you will be waiting for those opuses instead and saving some stones. In the case of Alma, I'm not going to go over it too much because obviously Crystal Zone isn't out yet, but it is a very interesting zone, and I do think that Alma might have more use in the future versus something like AS Yipha. As much as boosting one unit by double is really attractive, I find that as the fights get harder and you have all the grass stuff, so someone in endgame like myself with most of the grass stuff farmed in the game, damage isn't always the issue, it's survivability. And mind you, I mean, she helps your main DPS survive. She even helps the rest of your team somewhat survive. But I do think that boosting your DPS even higher is not a necessary thing, although I could totally be wrong about future content. With the likes of your high-powered DPS like AS Kikyo, Flam, Eva, and so on and so forth, I didn't find that they need extra boosting beyond what is already available in the game with type resist debuff, RCF, and so on and so forth. And so in that sense, AS Yipha is less effective. Now, not to say she's useless. I didn't say that at all. And she is extremely powerful in her own right. It's just that there is that thing called cost of competing capital. If you're free to play, you only have one source of stones. If you burn it here, you will have no stones for Alma. If you've already burnt it on Alter Xion, you probably have no stones for AS Yipha anyways. And so really the whole point is to decide what you absolutely need versus what you could use, but another unit might be more useful for your existing roster. Now again, I know I have a veteran mindset. I've been playing for a long time, and I'm basing this decision off what I have in my roster. But just in my experience, as you get to the end game and you have all the Grasta, even free units are doing enough damage, and it's just more about survivability and finding units that can really fill that roster for you. And to be fair, every content can be beaten in the game with free units so far, and so, no unit is absolutely necessary. So again, if I had to choose between the newest units out there, I did mention Ultra Xion and Alma ahead of AS Yipha. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree, because I expect a lot of people to say, Will, you're totally wrong, and I do respect that. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion. This is only one gamer dad's opinion, and so obviously if you find that she is more useful for your roster, then please use your stones and summon here. If you're able to save up, then you'll have new units to summon for in the near future. Again, remember in my most recent farming video, the content has slowed down a little bit, and so we do have a little bit of extra time to farm for or collect stones from our daily login. So something to keep in mind as well when budgeting for summoning for your featured unit. Anyways, like myself, I do have normal style Yipha, so I'll be passing on this banner, farming the Treaty Seas. Again, most of you have let me know what you're already doing, but if you haven't already, make sure you comment and let me know what you're planning to do with this banner, and of course, if you've beaten those true manifests as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.